Okay. So my sound's all screwed up. It's okay. You know what, guys? It's Thursday. We got jobless claims today. I'm a little late. I had to restart my machine. That's why it's all jacked up. Yeah, just installing some Windows updates. Anyways, here we got yesterday. Pretty big move up in the E-mini. We're retracing that huge move down. And they didn't quite make new all-time highs, but they're definitely gunning for it. It's kind of August, which is tends to be kind of a slow time of year. I felt yesterday was slow in the tape, even though we moved up a lot. Just didn't see a whole lot of opportunities. Anyways, so you get these jobless claims. That's going to be really important. Uh, Treasuries are kind of a little bit back and forth. Maybe this bear sentiment will turn back on, but we still got auctions today. We got 3-year auction coming in. Notice curve steepening a little bit. Oil holding its gains from yesterday, but still within the range. Gold, kind of flat slash pointed, threatening to go lower, perhaps. Currencies, dollar, bouncing off of 93. As you can see, maybe a little bit better here, bouncing off of 93. So that's our setup. Hopefully my audio doesn't end up being too jacked up. But anyways. Okay, so the treasuries the treasuries have been selling off since the open the last 5 minutes, so but I'm kind of wondering if these jobless claims don't end up being bad. We kind of last week was thinking, hey, there's some problems that might not show up right away, right? So I'm going to put something in here. Maybe like right there. Still got about 3 minutes. Now let's make sure that our text to speech is on. All right. Cool. Man, Chewie really thinks that we're going to turn down. Mm-mm. Dun, dun, dun. Soros reveals how he's invested amid Fed liquidity bubble and says Trump is quote unquote very dangerous. Okay. Okay, Georgie. He claims that ever since he shared his methodology in his book, The Alchemy of Finance, he no longer has an advantage. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of liquidity pulling. I'm gonna move this. 15 seconds. Hey, Arcage's Rabbit, how have you been? How have you been? It's been a while. Okay, here comes the numbers. Okay, wow. So the number was 963K versus 1120. Mm. Okay, so we need to remember that we're already short. So I could probably buy this over here. Yeah. Export prices month over month, spot 8 versus spot 4. So we are seeing inflation over in there too. And I feel like that being below 1,000 is like a really good psychological level there, you know? Gonna try and manage my risk a little better because we are on the higher side of this. Sure enough, the treasuries recover there. Mm, I don't know. It looks okay. How far could we go here? 78. Oh man, really? Ooh. So we've been doing pretty good, air cages. I kind of switched up my outlook on things and just started focusing really heavily on news, and I've been doing really well since then. But it's the summer, so I don't know. It's kind of a weird trading environment, so I'm not making too many conclusions on it yet. But so far, we've been doing really good. I've definitely felt that, man. I remember one time I well, recently uh it was like I think the worst one was back when Great Britain finally got a deal for Brexit, an agreement over Brexit, and that I was the right direction on the markets, but it was just so whippy, and I took some really bad losses, and I was feeling really down that day, and that was the day that we went to see the ultrasound for my baby. And which, because I had been to ultrasound before and there was nothing there, was the last time I went to an ultrasound. So it was a pretty big deal to go there and see a kid. And I'm all feeling terrible because I just lost $500, right? And we're having a baby. It was like really, whew. But things subside over time is one thing. But I think another thing is you can just sit down and say, okay, um, it's normal. In fact, the extremely common to lose money trading, and I need to uh, tighten my risk management and trade sim for a while and build myself back up. This is that's the part of the things you have to kind of uh, expect and take on when you start trading, isn't it? Mm-mm-mm-mm. The only thing better for futures than bad news is good news, tweets a zero hedge. Good grief. I take it zero hedge is not too enthusiastic about the fact that we've just been going up and up. Mm-mm. Okay. Yeah, I think they're going to get gun for that overnight high for sure now. Maybe close that gap from the close. I guess another thing is that if you were losing, I mean, you made a ton of money from crypto trading. Gonna have to give some of it back. So wasn't that lovely trade? So when that happened, and the news was good because I thought, well, I was looking at that if it was bad, we would get a bigger move in the treasuries. But because it was good, treasuries are already kind of at their lows. So that makes it really hard to just take as short as she goes. It doesn't mean that they can't go lower. It's just they're going to need new people coming on. Whereas on a come over here into the E-mini, and it was relatively balanced and saw the momentum coming in, and there's a lot of timing in our favor because there are a lot of people come in at 7, a lot of people come in at 7:30, obviously. So it made a lot more sense to take the trade over in the E-mini. So that's what I did. Man, you make me think about my so my little sister died a couple months ago. Has it been months now? I don't know how long it's been. It feels like it's been a while. I don't think about it too much. But apparently my dad has been having anxiety over it. So I'm like sitting here wondering what to do about that. And he was taking something for it, but I'm like not so sure that it's the right thing to be taken. I think his brain chemistry is a lot like mine. I take Certera, and if he was on Certera, that would make a big difference. But it's really hard to get on Certera, man. Oh, makes you feel so nauseous at first. What the heck is Bill O'Reilly? Bill O'Reilly, I could never vote for a Biden Harris ticket. No. Bill O'Reilly won't vote for Biden Harris? I'm shocked, guys. I thought of if anybody would maybe go along with it, it could have been Bill O'Reilly, but no. It's simple. I don't want to see traditional America deconstructed by the far left. Senator Harris is a member of that pernicious club. Joe Biden will offer no resistance to those who want to demolish our country. Normally, I wouldn't care to read uh, something from somebody so political, but I'm going to bet that that is going to be the narrative going forward from the right. Did you see yesterday? One of the things that I saw was um, people were saying, "Oh, she's a mainstream Democrat," and I think it was Brett Baer came in and was like, no, she has like the most liberal voting record on the Senate. And then Senator Kennedy came out and he's like, yeah, she's kind of like AOC, but smarter and doesn't have bartending experience. That one's smart. Yeah. I think that one's going to stick. So clearly, the question was, which way do you go with Harris? Is she dumb or evil? And I was saying, well, maybe they might go more for the she's dumb. Well, they're not. I don't think they're going to the angry black woman theme. Rather, they're going she's a far left radical theme. Yeah. Well, sometimes you just get into a market where you don't really understand what's going on. When it was the Brexit situation, I didn't understand enough about Brexit itself and the market overall and the market positioning to really play that one effectively, even though I knew that it was generally good. Um, Cryptocurrencies, it's even harder, because cryptocurrencies, I don't know. This is why I really don't like cryptocurrencies for any kind of short term trades. Now, if I wasn't on cryptocurrencies, then oof, extra oof. Yeah, on this move, I would have much rather have preferred to get 66. Hey, how are you? Welcome back, Brett. I didn't scare you off yesterday. Makes me, I feel good. I feel good. Okay, Zero Hedge has changing claims by state. Oh, let's look. So I think okay. So the places that are doing the worst is Nevada, Puerto Rico, Kansas, Wyoming. And the places where it's reducing the most, Florida, New York. Look at how big it is between those two. And then Texas, California, a little bit. I'm a little concerned about how California is doing with the pandemic. It seems to me like the pandemic is going to have a long a longer reaching influence on California. Like they're losing a lot of people. New York too, but I don't know. I think that New York it's easier for New York to bounce back. They've done it many times before. Whereas California, it's like, especially if they start losing tech companies, everybody just starts working remote. Like they're really vulnerable. Looks like it just is like a slow moving train. They're going to have to chase it. Oh, this is interesting. So it looks like that some of the long inventory was basically had to be used, and when they did that, even though there wasn't significant absorption, they basically don't have much left on. So it may you believe it or not, we may get into a situation where people chase this. How the real world is just like a James Bond film. Rabobank explains that's a weird headline. I have to read that one later today. Oh man, Dave Portnoy. Imagine being one of the other gambling companies who all had chances to buy Barstool Sports and all passed and not one even made a real offer. We met with Penn and they moved to close the deal almost instantly. What management team would you bet on? Interesting. It was something that I've seen happen many times with guys like Dave Portnoy. The one that sticks out in my mind the most was his name Derek Rose, the guy who made Reddit, and Microsoft was in talks to buy them for the longest time and gave them a pretty good deal. Actually, doesn't sound like David Portnoy got a good deal, but I digress. He held out for too long, and then uh, Dig wasn't worth as much, and Dig basically collapsed, and Rose didn't in the end didn't get much to you know he could have been the next Zuckerberg or whatever, and I don't really hear much about him anymore. And for Dave, of course, don't take a bad deal, but that's the risk that you face. You're doing well right now, but you're in an environment right now that will probably be really favorable to you. At some point, you got to cash out, and cashing out actually benefits you, especially if you stay on. Which in this case, Barstool starts. You would have to stay on, right? He's such an important personality to the brand, but you get bought out for a good deal. Um, that extra capital can take you to the next level. Dum, bum, ba-dum. I'm on the lookout today for big icebergs in the treasuries because there's a 30-year auction today, and I'm not really seeing a whole lot there at the moment. Tucker Carlson responds to guest correcting the pronunciation of Kamala Harris's name. That is, I bet you that the difference of how they're saying it is really subtle. Like Donald Trump has been tweeting it too. Okay, so Mads, I have two tutorials, actually three. I have three videos on Ninja script programming on my channel, and you watch those. Those are going to give you the main tools essentially that you're going to need to be able to understand Ninja script. Well, it's not even Ninja script; it's C sharp, but their API, right? And once you have that, all you got to do is just, there's always going to be an indicator, assuming you're making an indicator. I guess you want to do automated trading, right? Even with automated trading, you can go and you can look at all of their indicators and how they made them, and they have a couple of sample strategies, and you just open up those files and see what they say. Yeah, you can just kind of look at by example. Now, I'm going to be making another video. It's just taking a while because, back testing and things like that. But I have a video on strategies that I'm hoping to put out the next few weeks. I had some time yesterday. I should have done that yesterday, but I thought that I was going to be doing other things. um, but yeah, so I do have a video on strategies coming up. So that would probably be useful to you as well. Um, And then you just kind of have to try a bunch of different things. It's really what it comes down to. Um, you know, I think after that, what I will probably start doing is I'll start making videos that just show a lot of interesting examples for you guys or programming requests that you guys have. But it's a lot of an experience thing, man. So um, just start writing things. Like it's I think what some people have this expectation that's like, okay, I'm gonna learn to do all the programming, go through the course, and then I'm gonna write the strategy, and I'm gonna backtest it, and it's gonna be profitable. And it doesn't work like that. It's gonna be like, yeah, sure. Well, so how are you making the normal target and stop? Are you using the set stop set target? Yeah, because there's I'll show you. Mm, 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 New Ninja Script Editor. I think I will show you. So I have this one. Yeah, I think I need more RAM for backtesting because some of these backtests have been taking forever for me and longer than I think that they should. So I have this one strategy where you're not really going to be able to tell what it's doing here because all of the logic is in the indicator, but you can see how I'm managing the trades. So here I'm like using set profit target and set stop loss and all that sort of stuff. Right? Oh, always. It's like almost always, right? Here's one that I want to show you guys in my oh, this one doesn't have it. About this one, the secret one. This one was a dud. Okay, so do you see here I have like set stop loss? And I just set it to number of ticks at the very beginning and that's it, right? Versus coming in here and for every order saying, okay, um, this is exactly where I want it to go to. Sometimes you can base it. I think that this one, oh, I guess I changed it. There was some one where, I was like, okay, the stop is like the bottom of this bar or something like that, right? But there's a method that you can just right here. Oh, there you go. Okay. So there's one that is just set trailing stop, I believe. Let's go and search the API and just make sure that I've got the language reference. This is your best friend, guys. Set trailing stop. No. Oh yeah. Thank you. Um, oh, here we go. It's set trail stop. They should have some. There you go. Set trail stop, calculation mode, dot text, 12, full tick trail stop. And that's all there is to it. And it gives you a couple of parameters that you can pass in. That's the one that gets interesting is that if you want to have like multiple orders that have different trailing stops or something, that's when you want to do this is you want to give it a name. See, I gave it a name signal +1 and signal +2 because I have two orders and one of them I let run and one of them I take. And then when I take the one, I move the other one up to break even and all that. So that allows me to set it on a trade by trade basis. Versus this one right here, I set it in the configure and it's just set. Right. Now, I'll warn you with the trailing stop. Unless you have something that is just like really, really effective momentum identifier, the trailing stop almost always reduces your strategy's performance because it takes you out of the trade sooner. Trailing stop is going to be more. It's a more aggressive, more safe stop than just a regular stop, right? When you're moving it up. You're moving it up, that means you're more likely to get stopped out. Makes sense? So this is an interesting question. So you notice that a lot of these, if you look at the calculate method is like a really key thing to look at, right? Because this determines when your on bar update method gets called, right? So this one, it calculates on the bar close. Well, the problem with calculating on the bar close is that you might be late to the trade, right? It might be really clear that your conditions are going to be met long before the bar closes, right? So then you can do something like calculate on each tick or calculate on price change. Now, that means that your indicator or your strategy is going to be a lot harder to backtest because this gets called more. So it's going to increase the number of checks that you're going to do by a lot. But it can also mean that you get in faster. But then the other caveat to that is that your results are less likely to be real to life. Like if you have a signal and it gets in at the end of the bar and everything is like 100% confirmed and everything right, then and it's your strategy is like truly profitable, which I haven't seen one. I haven't been able to get a strategy that's like that works well over like 5 years. But if you got one like that, pretty good chance that you got something that will have at least some success when you start trading it live. Whereas when you do it on each tick, what you're going to find happens is because it's so much more of a sensitive of a trigger, you're going to take more trades. You're going to have a lot of trades where it like goes a little bit and then you get out or you switch or flip around. A strategy like that, often the reason that such a strategy makes money is just because it's in the market all the time, right? And then it just happens to be positioned the right way and it catches the big runs because of that. But when your strategy is making money that way, that also means that when something crazy happens, it's more likely to fall flat on its face. So then you would have to look to add things into the indicator to save you. Like you had too many losses today, then stop trading today. Hope that helps. I'll just minimize this because I bet you guys will have other questions on that. pretty quiet in Discord this morning. Looks like they're going to pressure you on the long side here. Maybe back to 70 even. There is a possibility that the JMMC will be pushed back a day to the 19th of August. Oh, that's for oil. Okay. Mm-mm. That was oh, I know what it was that I needed to look at. I should check. There was because there's a programming channel on Discord, and sometimes people say, "Yep, there is in fact programming." When an if statement only has return after it, like the example below, what is the code saying? Is it returning anything? Somebody already answered it. It returns nothing. Yes, good job, dude. You get a cookie. Okay. It returns nothing and breaks out of the invisible loop unless something is passed to its return. So even though it doesn't return anything, it's still necessary to be there to break the loop. Yep. Somebody has a return statement in a loop of some sort like that, it's definitely a critical part of the logic. You could also just use a break statement in the loop, but maybe there's some logic after that loop statement. You want to skip the rest of the return function. We got a guy. I got a guy that's been messaging me that's got a pretty impressive sounding crypto trading app. But I was like, well, I don't do official partnerships like that. But I guess he's gonna post the link in the crypto channel on Discord, so might be an interesting one to look at. I bet Air Cages be interested in that. Yeah, this is coming back. Now look at the treasury. Treasury up quite a bit. Oh, actually, it's not that much. It seems like a lot, but now I'm realizing it's only like 2 ticks. CME Group to launch futures on the NASDAQ 100 Volatility Index. Really? That's interesting. That it's going to be CME and not CBOE. Okay, so they decide to come back and pressure me. That's okay. Bears don't take out 3362. Well, I'm seeing a potential bounce area here. See what they do. Oh. Hmm. Oh, their cost basis is dropping. That's interesting. Well, probably they're going to need to test down a little bit because the longs just weren't able to get because they didn't get them to chase. Because they didn't get them to chase, they're going to have to come down and pick up some longs down here first. The box. You talking about like the blue and red boxes on this chart right here that are kind of in the background? Where are you talking about these boxes up in the left? So these boxes right here are actually a secondary data series. Hmm. It's a secondary data series. If I come in here and you look at the data series, have another data series, and I basically what I did was I copied the box chart style and made a few enhancements to it and call it multi-period candles. That's what that is. There, that is available for download in the downloads channel of Discord. And I made a video about that as well. Made a video about that as well to show you how to use it. Hmm. Watching this. It looks like they're gonna turn back up, but yeah, no problem. I'm oh yeah, I'm getting a hint that they're gonna turn back up, but the situation and so forth makes me very worried about that. Kind of positioning wise, it coming through this 69 to 70 area is a little questionable. Hmm. Well, the treasury is ticking back down. Hmm. So it's definitely slowed down and found some support here, but it looks like the seller is kind of absorbing for more. Something in this room smells off. Hmm. Yeah. Look at that. I think a robot just bailed there. I think I'm just smelling things. I must just be smelling things. Now we might be stuck until the open. I think I'm gonna try button one right. Oh, this is an interesting setup. Really? So if they try and really move it so that now it's in favor of the Bears, then they have to get to 64. At which point, um, you're then you have a really high likelihood of pushing that low. But what might happen on the open is they push down, stop them out, reverse. It looks to me like positioning pressure against positions right now. So the buyer is picking up more contracts down here. So 67 wouldn't be a bad long. Excessive heat warning. Starting tomorrow. Dangerous heat will impinge on low-lying southern Utah deserts. 105 to 112 degree. Oh my gosh. Oh, that is so hot. It has been hot out there for sure. Hmm. Okay. Bounce in there just a tad. Hmm. Do you see the buying? Do you see the buyer's inventory improving here? Hmm. Ah, there's an iceberg in the 10-year. And the 30-year, there it is. They gonna buy, huh? Can see the 6J is kind of sitting on some support. They're trying to break through it, but they've just kind of been skidding along it. And the Euro's kind of all over the place. Not a lot of news coming through today. It's pretty quiet in Discord. Are they going to open at 1610? Are you kidding me? That whole thing is just a big joke now. Mm. Okay. Okay. Stopping at previous pivot. Sure, they'll trade through it. There. Okay. Man, Vlad, now you just got me thinking about Tesla. I'm just watching that. I'm like, these people realize that a stock split does nothing to the fundamentals of the company, right? Oh, but it's cheaper. We can buy it now. Oh, hmm. Mm. Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. Um. Well, the thing that was interesting about it, Vlad. Oh, really? Nah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't mess with that all-time highs unless there's like something actively pushing us down, right? Um. The thing is that there was not that many longs. They've picked them up now, but before the news, there was not that many longs. That's kind of why we fizzled back out and all the way back down to here. I kind of saw it happening. I thought that it would just result in them pushing higher and longs having to chase it, but no, wrong timing, I guess. Okay, so that was interesting. 5 minutes ahead of the open, somebody um, sweeps 4 prices down. One of those bids actually ended up pulling. Oh, he was high. High. So funny that it read it that way. Hmm. What's this? That happening so close to the open is kind of weird. That's the sort of thing that you would expect to see with news. Hmm. Look at the NASDAQ going there. Well, NASDAQ definitely leading them around. I don't know. I mean, from the overnight positioning, this is okay. It's balanced, but they do seem to be having a hard time with it, don't they? And we're getting this thing. So there it is again. Okay, there's the open. NASDAQ is pushing up. Hmm. So the volume in the first minute is not really very conclusive. Hey, how are you? That seems like a new name. How are you? Oh, oh, has it been a while? Oh wait, how long has it been? Been like a year? He's sitting here like, you don't remember me, Santa? Hmm. Oh yeah, you've been from way back. Well, thank you for stopping in and saying hi. Is Nasdaq gonna take this or what? The NQ is looking a little crazy. Oh yeah, then it's a good idea to not trade, dude. Hmm. Well, yesterday I was looking for some shorts and then it kept telling me not to, so I just never. Oh, I remember all that stuff. Now I remember, yes. Remember when what was it? The rye blocks? I was like, "Oh, I want to get into rye blocks." And then before I had the money to do it, it went up like 100 times or whatever. Oh, and that one was so ridiculous. That was my best missed trade ever. I haven't, man, the cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin, it just has not been showing me what I want to see lately. I remember you now. Yeah. Well, Ethereum and so forth has been doing really well lately too. Bitcoin though still looks overbought. Yeah, this is very summer trading like. Like I think yesterday was like slow day, so retail buys, you know? And when retail just completely takes over, it just goes far. I was reading this study the other day, and these guys, they were looking at tick level data over the 90s, I think. And um right. And they basically they were saying, okay, how big are retail orders and so forth, and how influential are they? And basically, their conclusion was that retail trading can very much move price and tends to overextend. So they make things overbought until that fizzles out, and then they make things oversold, and vice versa. So and if there are more retail traders in this market than normal, then those moves are just going to get exacerbated, right? I think that's what was happening yesterday. So a little bit of selling there at 67 and a half. Hmm. Okay, that was an order at 65 stacking and pulling. Do you see him? He's right here right now. 66 and three quarters. Yes. Retail traders are like small individual investors. Oh yeah. Man, I remember that first day I was like, Bitcoin is close to a top. I tell you what, my the information that I post on my Patreon every day, or I'm supposed to post every day. Sometimes I've been forgetting because of all this pandemic screws my schedule up. But um, it was really accurate. Now lately, it hasn't been all that useful because it just shows Bitcoin is overbought all the time, which I guess is just the reality of it for now. Where are you finding a 360 hertz refresh rate monitor? A higher monitor is totally a good thing to have. It's not necessary, but is very, very nice. I have a 144 hertz monitor. 360 is probably not. That I didn't know that. Right now they were at 240 hertz. Is probably where I'd be looking. 360 you're going to be paying for something premium. That guy that was fiddling around with his order at 6650 is never moved it. He never got filled. Now there's some offers pulling out of the way. Okay, so yeah, that's a good question. My main monitor, when it was new, when it was a brand new thing, and there was never been a 27-inch monitor with 144 hertz, it was like $600 or something like that. But what happened was there was some significant improvements in the technology, and the price for all of these decreased dramatically. So if you're paying $650 for a monitor today, it's going to be a super, super nice monitor. And I wouldn't necessarily be paying that much for a monitor unless I was going to like game with it or something like that. For trading, you're probably better off looking for like a 27-inch monitor, 144 hertz, and you should be able to get one for under 200, around there, like new for under 200. I all of these other two monitors that I bought, I don't think I spent more than 100 on. And the higher refresh rate monitor will give you slightly better reaction. So like when you click, it'll get you in faster by like 10 milliseconds, by about 10 milliseconds. But yeah, the thing is there's still, so if you wanted to get a really nice monitor, I would probably wait a little bit because they're moving up there. The golden, I guess the gold standard would be a 27-inch monitor, 4K resolution, 240 hertz refresh rate. I don't think that anybody has made one of those yet. That's a reasonable price. Oh, and also the type of panel that it is matters too, because then you get better viewing angles and colors and stuff. Right. I got you. Get a 4K monitor. It could just be a 60 hertz monitor, but get the 4K, and then you have plenty of space. Think about it. Think about the size of my screen, and then increase that by like 40%, and that's a 4K monitor. Oh, I wish it was CNBC. Hold on, I'm getting some stuff over the squawks. Yeah, okay. Nothing new. Wasn't exactly positive, but yeah, so we're really just screwing around. So I do trade and I live trade. I just I should make it clear that my intention is not for you to follow my trades. If you want to learn, you can ask me questions, but I consider this primarily entertainment. So, because like honestly, trading is hard and it's lonely. Oh, you're okay, Celine. Yeah, just gotta be. Yeah, I spend a lot of time looking at prices because I'm a tech geek. It's that's fine. Yeah, yeah. The whole thing is that trading can get really really lonely, right? And we got a lot of guys. We got a lot of guys here on our Discord and in YouTube that are very very successful traders. But it's just like when you're sitting there by yourself every day, that's really hard, especially with the stress that it can bring sometimes. So my primary goal is just to create a community that we can get entertainment from. Now we're going to help people along the way, of course, but the main reason that we help them is by creating a community of successful traders, right? That's the other thing is that you know if I was looking to like make money from teaching you how to trade per se, then what I would do is I would just tell you the things that you want to hear, right? The things that you have to know to be good at trading are usually things that people don't want to know. You don't want to believe, let's say. It's looking a lot better now. Yeah. Well, I think that there's a lot of factors in the pressures on price that are counterintuitive. Oh, good. Thank you so much, Def Pluto. I appreciate it. It's good charts. You know what? I kind of want to see Tesla fall. I think that whole thing in Tesla is just ridiculous. And I hope, you know, no. So, um my my stop is usually mine has been 16 ticks lately. Mm. You're going to have to adjust your stop to the market. But you know what? I've been finding that I usually don't need even that. A lot of these trades have only been going 4 ticks against me. But the way that I like to figure it out. So like just for this trade, I will explain how I was thinking about it. Um, I'm looking at this chart and I'm watching positions, and I know that the news was good. So I thought that we should extend up and go to the overnight high. So if the overnight high was what, 75, right? And I want to get in somewhere in here, which I did. So if I'm getting in here at 66 and it can go to 76, that's a good 10 points, right? So then I want to give myself a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. So I might be willing to risk 5 points on it. But often what I will do is I will, even if I'm getting the wrong kind of price action, I don't want to say use the word price action, but if what I see on the DOM is not necessarily the kind of momentum that I want to see, I might get out of it and only take a 4 or 8 tick loss multiple times until I catch the one that I want, which is what I did in this case. I took it. This was the second time I took it. This was the third time I took it, wasn't it? Yes, it was. It's the third time I took it. And then also I can also adjust it, right? So if it's 5, if I'm willing to risk 5, but then I can say, okay, but it's not actually going to come back that far. But I'm still willing to risk this amount of money on it so I can trade 2 contracts. which is what I did. I'll take one off right there if I can. But I guess so let me back up and try and approach this from a different direction that I think would be more helpful to you guys. Why should the market um, stay within an 8 tick stop for you? What fundamental reason would the market have that it wouldn't be able to go 8 ticks against you? Sometimes I add. I haven't done the adding in a while. I haven't needed to, but it's kind of summer action, so no. But what fundamental reason would it have that the E-mini wouldn't go 8 ticks against you? Oh, okay. So ATR is a great would be a great example too. Why would it have to hold the ATR? Hmm. So let me show you over here. So I have an indicator on this chart in the upper right. Let me minimize that. This kind of dotted line that's yellow and purple. That's an average true range stop. So when it breaks that, that means that it's moved more than the average true range. Look at how often it crosses that. Look right here. Crosses the ATR stop, immediately goes up. But why not? Just because that's what it's done in the past doesn't mean that that's what it has to do in the future. Why would you set your expectation at that just because that's what happened in the past? Do you get what I'm getting at? I don't think it matters. Um hold on, Culture Horse, and let me finish this idea and then I'll get another idea that I think would be more useful for you. The whole thing here is um I have no reason to believe that the behavior of this instrument is going to continue to conform to what it did in the past. In fact, if anything, I would say that it tends not to. So instead, what I'm doing is I'm setting my expectations based off of what I think is going to happen. Right? I think that they're going to touch 76. I think that they're going to touch 76. So if they're going to touch 76 and I want to maintain a certain risk reward ratio, I set everything based off of that instead. I say, this is what I think is going to happen. This is where I think it's going to go, and adjust my risk and reward and my risk up based off of that instead. Because it could move 8 ticks against me if it wanted to. I have no way of controlling or predicting that. But I do have a good reason to believe that they could touch 33.76, right? Actually, it's probably more now. Let's look. Yeah, no, 76 is good. 76 is good. Probably go a little bit past that, and then we see. Okay, so Culture Horse. The bigger thing here is that past performance is not indicative of future results. Okay. So that's it's a similar idea, Chekhov. Uh, how would he say that? Chekhov. So it is the same thing. When I take a trade, I'm not looking at it like, okay, the past history of this tends to be 70%, and this is my back test that shows that it has edge and yada yada yada. And here's why. Because past performance is not indicative of future result. So any technical setup that you can have, I'm not saying that it's not useful to know what the past tendency has been and that it's not useful to know the probabilities and the behaviors and things like that. It absolutely is. But in the end, Futures Trader 71, what he's trying to say is just because that's what it did in the past doesn't mean that that's what it's going to do today. So for me, I don't want to base my trade off of that. I actively avoid basing my trades off of those sorts of things. Instead, what I do is I say, this is the fundamental setup. This is the reason why they're going to buy today. And this is why they're going to buy to this certain location, and so on and so forth, right? And because I know that, and because I have a fundamental thesis based off of it, um, those probabilities and stuff don't matter. In fact, if I see a setup, like people say there was a double top, for instance, maybe they say there was a double top, and I look at the fundamentals and I see, oh yeah, but they're going to buy today because the money flows and the news and everything means that they're going to do this, then I'm going to actively trade against that edge because I know that there will be more in it, that more people will be going against it and get screwed over by that trade. Make sense? So to Culture Horse's question about whether you use a 5-minute or a 1-minute chart, it doesn't really matter, just as long as you yourself are comfortable with the time frame that you're looking at, that you have a pretty good idea of where it's moving and where people might be positioned, right? This is where I think that the primary thing that you want to try and figure out from your technical indicators is where people's positions are, right? Now, I have a really hard time with that. That's why I've written all this stuff that really tries to calculate it out, you know? Mm, mm, mm. So did that answer the question? So if you want to use a 5-minute or a 1-minute chart, doesn't matter. I have both up. I have a 5-minute, this one right here. This middle top one is a 5-minute chart, and this is the primary one that I'm looking at. And then this one right here is a 1-minute chart. Now I have a bunch of other stuff on there too. So then the question might be, well, why are you using those? Okay. Because like I said, past performance isn't indicative of future results. So when I have an indicator up there, oh my gosh, I have this thing. I'm gonna have to make a video for him or something, because I was messaging Peter Davies, and because I wanted him to write something into the platform. And one of the things was I like a super smoother. And he was like, oh yeah, but Euler is crazy and none of that shit works and you're wasting your time with it. But I was like, I didn't want to argue with him about it because I knew that it was like way too big of a thing to try and to go with in email, and he clearly didn't care. But it has no edge. But that doesn't mean that it's not useful. Is knowing what the trend is useful? Oh yeah. How many of you have traded against the trend before? I do it all the time. So what do? I have a chart here. It's got a super smoother on it, and that super smoother kind of filters out all of the noise, but is really responsive and gives me a really good idea of what the trend is. Right? So that's why I have it on there. I have this dotted line because that lets me know when they're, how they're performing compared to the average true range, right? They cross through that line. They've gone further than the average true range. It might mean that there's been a trend change. Feeling my desk is shaking. Sorry. That might just be the guys, construction workers, but it is like shaking. Okay. Anyways, this one down here, this adaptive CCI. Well, I've done some studies where if when the adaptive CCI is like over 200 and then you take it as a counter trend trade, then you could get some really good risk reward trades. But overall, it's not predictive. But what this tells me is how strong of a trend that was, because I have a hard time saying, okay, this move up, how strong was this move compared to this move? Well, the CCI will tell me that, not so I can kind of factor that in, right? Pivots. I just really like to see where it turned last time and how long it took to determine that it actually turned. That's why I have the things that I do on there. And then I have the tick, which was kind of an experiment, but I don't really think I pay a whole lot of attention to it. Right? That's why I have the indicators that I do on there. And like I said, I don't believe that those indicators have any inherent edge in and of themselves. There's no reason that it should perform in the future the way that it's performed in the past. So I try not to base my trades off of that. Yeah. Let's read all these comments you got here. Mm-hmm. Um. Oh, that's a good question. So I have them over here on this one in the lower right, but I don't know, man. The level two is can be unreliable. I I'm a little okay. So there's this guy named Hyperscalper that I've been talking to that he believes that you just look at the level two in a certain way. The way that he says you look at it is okay, if there's 160 there, but then it goes down to 151, you actually care that it was 151 because those are the orders that don't want to pull. Those are the orders that really want to get filled. So you look at that for every one of these prices and you add them all up and you say, okay, which side wants to get filled more, and then you trade in that direction. That's what he thinks. And that's what this resting orders indicator down here in the very, very lower right shows you. And I found that it is incredibly unreliable. But he claims that like it works and that you can call the direction like every time, and he's like got a robot doing it and all that. So I've kind of got it up there looking at it and seeing what kind of data I can sniff out from it, but so far I'm still really skeptical about what I can really gain from the market from looking at that aggregation. Yeah. So we'll see how it what it does, how it goes. Ooh. Kudlow is saying that they're making a change so that the payroll tax holiday will apply to self-employed people. That's cool. That's good. What are my thoughts on that? I think that if you're trying to trade NQ by hand, that you're crazy. That I think that NQ is like high frequency trading only. So your ability to hit into it with a market order and everything, I don't know. I just man, how can you put a limit order anywhere and expect it to hold? And have a set stop and expect it to hold. I bet you that the vast majority of the market makers over there are have like a really big stop and a short target. It's crazy. Mm, yeah. I tell you what, um I have seen more losses from people on NQ than anything else. I mean, oil will hurt you if you don't know what you're doing, but NQ just destroys people, man. Yeah. And I think that that would be one of those situations where you have to take the trades too, right? Because when you miss them, but do you try and get them to run? I don't know. The way that I trade it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense in NQ, would it? Not without a lot more money. Totally. The thing with oil is it actually, like, on a tick by tick basis, it's not that volatile. I think you guys have convinced me of that. The issue with oil is that you can get these moves that are like $1,000 just like that in oil sometimes because it has to do with the supply. So this is a really interesting economic thing, but something with the supply, the way that oil works, um, it can affect price more. So because we can modify the supply and demand in treasuries, that allows us to keep the volatility in treasuries exceptionally low. But because the supply and demand is relatively um, difficult to change in oil, right? Like for us to deal with this pandemic, you had to get all of the countries to agree to reduce their output and all of this and that. So when it that means that you can have larger price movements in the asset overall. So yeah, oil can what will happen in oil I've found is it'll seem like you're doing really really good and then all of a sudden it'll just wipe you out, you know? We need the Texan accent so we can say oil with fun. I can maybe I'll bring my wife in here and she can say oil and I was trying to get her to trade oil. I was like, oil trades pretty good during the times of day that you would be interested. First squawk. Stock market rally is not connected to reality. India Stock Exchange chief warns. Is anything connected to reality anymore, guys? Is reality connected to reality anymore? I'm starting to wonder. I'm starting to wonder, like, are we in a simulation or like in an alternate timeline? Because there's just so many weird things happening. I don't know. Hmm. Amazon announces new fulfillment center and delivery station in Forney, Texas. You're not helping, Salim. You're not helping. See, we're all questioning reality now. That's how bad things have gotten. Well, I need to come over here and take a look at some things here to adjust because we've been around the 77 area for a while. I think I need to do some extra work here. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'm gonna take it off. Fine. I'm just gonna take it both off. I didn't realize that my average that my based on my VIX calculations that oh well actually it's giving me 89. It's giving me 89. So I could potentially wait for a turn back down, but we're like well above positioning and all of that. And wait, how much volume has gone through here? Mm, okay, so it's not an extreme amount of volume up here yet. So I suppose that I could keep it. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have gotten out of that. But I did make like well beyond my target and everything today. Now that I've done it, I probably should wait for a good spot before I try and get in something again. Because otherwise, you're taking on a lot of risk. Mm. Are you guys all my wife pretending to be different people? Hmm. 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 No, I don't think she would have the technical skills to pull that off. Oh yes, he has said that, hasn't he? You're right. That's funny, man. Oh, dude. I'm still thinking about should I have kept that? I think that there's some reward in my favor, but I'm seeing a couple of things in the tape and stuff that are telling me that at least at the moment that they're pulling back a little bit. And look, the treasuries are ticking up again. Oh, I already give you. She would never say that, dude. She's okay. So this is a kind of a funny story. Well, it's not a funny story, but I find it funny and interesting. Maybe you will too. Um, I feel like that my wife has kind of has had situations, many situations where I'm like, like we could do this, and she doesn't want to do it. And it has nothing to do. It's like she thinks that she doesn't deserve to have something amazing happen. Like she doesn't deserve to go into a business venture and become ridiculously successful with it and become a millionaire. She thinks that the universe is always going to conspire against her to not make that happen. And I'm like, why? Why can't some of the stupidest people become rich? Like really, sometimes you just get lucky. Why can't you work hard and be successful at things? And so I've been trying to push this. How do I say push? But I've been trying to encourage this idea with her and the kids because I feel like that's just kind of they're from the country, really conservative. Out there you don't go out for the big grand thing, move to the city. No, you just stay in the country and enjoy things the way that they are. Um, well, um, the kids, she's been doing well with this. So I told her, hey, you should make masks because everybody is going to need masks. There's sewing them. There's an opportunity there. So she started making the masks, and oh my gosh, she has made so many of these things, guys. And the thing was, is I thought, okay, well, everybody has a mask now. You can go and buy them at the stores and stuff. So I think that probably this business is going to start dying down, and we should start looking for other things. And then school came around, and almost all of the people that initially bought masks from her want new ones for their kids. Like, whoa! And they're good masks too. They're better. Like you can get masks at the store. They're better than the ones at the store. And she's got new materials, like she's got Pokemon materials and things that the kids would like. Yeah, she's done really well with it. Okay, so the kids decide that they want to have a lemonade stand. I'm like, okay. I don't know how I feel about a lemonade stand because you're just taking juice concentrate and selling it to people, but whatever. Maybe I'd feel better if you like made fresh squeezed lemonade, but you do your thing and we'll see how much you make from it and everything. They made like $60 in a day selling lemonade. I'm like, what? They were all super excited about it too. So now they're talking about they should, obviously there's only so much demand for lemonade, and you've already gotten everybody in the neighborhood to buy one. You might not get as many people to buy if you do that every day. So now they're thinking about snow cones. They want to make snow cones. And I'm thinking about it now, and I'm like, oh, we could build a trailer, make a real snow cone hut, get the food license and everything, and they could sell snow cones every summer because my wife loves snow cones. And she was like, I was like looking at existing stands, and she ripped the phone out of my hand to look at it. And she already knew all of the devices that she needed and stuff. So apparently now I might start a snow cone business. which is Maybe. Man, I was looking at some of the numbers from that people say it can be typical for snow cones, and they can make bank in the summer. I was so surprised because I was looking at this. I was like, a nice snow cone hut, like $15,000 to $30,000 to buy one. But these things can make like $8,000 a day in the heat of the summer. And because the profit margin on it is really high. It doesn't cost you a lot to make a snow cone. It's like 14 cents and you can sell it for like $8. Oh jeez. Well, if your wife likes to do that, here's what oh my gosh. No, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. Here's what you do, guys. When the kids aren't around, do it when the kids aren't around, right? And you and your wife have what we call a naked worm race. So you find like the longest hallway in your house, and you're both naked on the ground, and you have to crawl like a worm. Like you can't use your arms and legs. You just have to like shuffle like a worm, and it's a race. And yeah, you got to be careful because you give yourself a rug burn, right? That's what makes it entertaining, right? Try it out sometime. It's fun times. It's fun times. I can't believe I told you guys that. I should have told you that. I wish I could put that in the title. I don't think that would make a good title. Seth explains naked worm races. Let's see here. Where is Tesla at right now? Oh, it's giving me 1600. I'd like to see them back below 1500. Exclusive, the Trump administration had haphazardly gave away hundreds of millions of COVID-19 masks. Nah, I can't. No, you know what? I used to always wear like a t-shirt and shorts to bed. And after I got divorced, I read some stuff about how your temperature regulation is you're really not supposed to keep yourself so warm at night. And so I stopped doing that. And yeah, I like sleeping with less on, and I sleep better with the temperature regulation, and I think that like my hormones are better when I keep cool. But like I can't go like full on naked. It just doesn't. I just the whole time I'm just thinking it makes me uncomfortable. Jeez. Oh no. So the other thing is that then when the kids come, when I got remarried, I've I was, like one of the big issues I have is like I'm coming out of the shower or whatever, and like kids are in the room. Oh, I hate that. I hate that. I got like the bathrobe and everything so that I can, because I don't want the kids. Because there's been some crazy stories about like there was like this one where like the stepmom exposed her boob or something, and they were getting tried in court for child something such, and I was like, what? So I'm like hyper over vigilant about that sort of a thing. So I'm excessively modest in our house. Except for the one time we did the naked worm race and nobody was home, just me and my wife. Okay, so they are coming down a little bit. I think I did the right thing. Now, if I really wanted to put some risk on, we could come back to 71 and I could buy it again. Bankruptcies and unpaid rents cost all landlords hundreds of millions in quarter two. I keep hearing. So here's a question for you guys. Not a question, but an open question. I keep seeing all these news about, oh, everybody's going to get evicted, and like this huge percentage of the population is like out of work or whatever. Oh, no, I don't. How? It's not affecting the economy. It's not affecting. Why is I don't get it. How can you have like this huge, right? Where's all this money coming from? Is it really just that the stimulus is being that effective, and when it runs out, if the Republicans and Democrats don't do anything, we're going to fall off a cliff and it's going to be like depression? If that's the case, then why how can they be buying, you know? Surely the market must know this. Or is it maybe the case that the news is exaggerating to us? Because it seems to me like that the news exaggerating it to us, and that it's not actually as big of a deal as it seems, and that the statistics aren't actually what they seems like a more probable case to me. But I don't know what the reality is or not. I can't trade off of it, you know? But I just find it so weird that hmm. Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, what are you doing? So I see something happening in politics that might extend up. I don't know if it matters, but AOC is saying, tweeting to Donald Trump, "You release your college transcript, and I'll release mine, and we'll see who was the better student." I don't know if Donald Trump's grades are going to be that great. I don't know if AOC's grades are all that relevant because she went to a community college. But the one that they want to see the college transcripts of was Biden, right? Like, he's just going to flip that around and he's going to say, "I really don't care about your college transcript. We all know that you're not the brightest tool in the shed. I want to see Obama's college, thesis, or this person's transcripts," right? He was going to flip it around. It's funny. It'll be. I'm interested to see if he reacts to that one. He might not react to it. He may just not react to it. Yeah, I don't know. AMC reopening most theaters by early September. Oh, good, because I really want to see Dune. Really? There was somebody else where it was like their college records were highly sought after and under lock and key. I think it was Biden. Like it was like they were in a safe or something. I thought it was Biden. I can't remember now. Yeah. Oh, okay. All makes sense now. Oh my gosh. Netflix wants me to watch UFO documentaries. They want me to see, to watch all this stuff about this Lazar guy. I'm like, I don't believe this guy. Maybe the government has this stuff, maybe they don't. I'm not so sure that this guy is a reliable source. I don't want to know more about it. I'm just going to wait for the government to come out and tell us. Did you hear this thing that people were saying that, like, oh, if Donald Trump is behind? Wait, hold on. Let's hear this. Okay. 401. Yeah. I have 69, but yeah. 69 is a spot where if they were to get that back to there, that would be like probably all the longs got washed out, and you might see a good chance of it flipping back up again. Your larger numbers though are like way too wide. Like the downside, the 3319, that's so far away. 50 points. Yeah. The bigger thing is that I'm not 100% sure how much your grades really matter to you being president, as long as you weren't getting Fs. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I was seeing this speculation that if Donald Trump was still losing in October, that as a last ditch attempt to try and save his presidency, that he might drop the information about UFOs. Huh? That's that's the funniest theory I've heard so far. Donald Trump will reveal that we have had contact with aliens to save his election prospects. Do you think that that would save his presidency? If that was really the situation at the time and he did that, do you think that it would make him get him elected? I don't know. The whole thing is kind of crazy, right? It might turn into one of those things that's like, okay, like we're seeing all these UFOs everywhere. Maybe the Russians or the Chinese had a UFO crash and they've reverse engineered the technology now too. So now that everybody has the technology, there's no use in the US government denying that we've recovered UFOs now. Or maybe they're just drones from the Russians, that's my guess. Or Chinese, they're Chinese drones. Otherwise, how do they move so fast? Hmm, maybe. But I mean, if that's what he does, then he wants to get reelected, right? Oh, what's Mohammed El Rain tweeting here? It's a guy surfing. He's on a wave. Just a casual surf on a wave. Oh, okay. I guess he's enjoying the surf. I thought it was going to be something funny. No, Muhammad El Rain never says anything funny. He's like the most serious analyst out there on TV. Wall Street Journal. The pandemic was not only predictable, it was predicted, yet when COVID 19 arrived, government scientists and public health officials were unprepared despite years of work that outlined how to manage the crisis. Mm, yeah, because there's still, just because you know it's coming doesn't know that you know how to deal with it correctly. What's going on here? Marketeer is posting some stuff about Gamma. Spy and QQQ Gamma note, we now have less positive Gamma than when the market was at this level 2 days ago. Hmm. Good question. Hmm. So in terms of websites that like I intentionally go to, like I type the URL in regularly, it's got to be Zero Hedge and Hot Air. Although I don't like Hot Air nearly as much. And I visit CNBC a lot too. But I really try and read everything. Like on Reddit, I'll see the stories and I try and read all of the major stories that are coming up. Now there are some that I don't read. Like the Washington Post, I would read it if it wasn't behind a paywall. But because it's behind a paywall, why should I bother? Most of what they post is trash anyways. Um but, so I will use different sources though. I try to be seeing what everybody's doing. Like the Democrats, they've been running around. They're trying to. Oh look, the Republicans are trying to destroy Kamala Harris. I don't know how you say her name. Apparently, there's a certain way to say her name, and I don't know what it is. And they're doing a fell job at it, but they're not very interesting right now. Infowars? No, I've never. I pulled up Infowars one time. Yeah, I had some of those too, but it hasn't been getting me into the Washington Post. Oh man, I watched Infowars like one time for like 5 minutes, and I was like, I can't do this. Well, he is. I believe. I'm almost certain that he is ADHD. I think, yeah, he is impulsive about his decision making process. So this doesn't necessarily mean that all of his decisions are bad. It just means that they will feel like they come out of nowhere. And these people that are really highly organized, finicky kind of people like Mitt Romney, there's going to be a lot of those at high levels of government. Well, you see, if you want somebody to come in and disrupt the power brokers in Washington, there is nothing better than a guy like Donald Trump with ADHD because he operates in a manner that is completely contradictory to the way that they think things should be done, and yet is still successful with it. Right? This is where it's like he breaks all of the rules and he still wins and they're so frustrated. That's why they literally don't understand how he thinks. They think that it's narcissism or something, but it's ADHD. And I can only say that because I am ADHD and I just see the symptoms in him. Mm. Mm. Yeah, there's I don't know. I'm really so the thing that's going to get me interested or not interested in a source is when they start saying things that just aren't backed by facts. So, like, I was reading a story the other day and they're like, oh, you don't really think that you get to choose who the president is? No, the Federal Reserve chooses who the president is. I was like, okay, prove it. That's an interesting theory, but there's like literally no primary evidence to back that assertion up. And when I see news sources that are continually saying things like that, I'm not interested in them. Okay, we can get the natural gas stocks change here. The oils. Treasuries didn't really move the build. Um, okay, so we should be careful now. Absolutely. Here's how I deal with it: drugs. So I'm on a combination of uh, what is it called? Atomoxetine. Strattera is what the brand name is. Strattera. And then I take just a tiny little bit of Adderall, and yeah, that generally helps me be focused. I'm not as focused as I'd like to be. You can tell that sometimes I'm talking to you guys and I'll just miss stuff. I've been doing really well lately, regardless. But more so than that, the thing that I notice is that those medications kind of suppress your limbic system, which are kind of the emotional centers of your brain. I it's really easy for me to control my emotions. I just can't get worked up. I feel the way that I want to feel almost all the time now. Whereas when I was ADHD, I had literally no control over my emotions. And that's why I was talking earlier. My dad, he's been feeling anxiety. My sister died recently. My sister died recently. Obviously, I was sad. I cried about it, but I never had like an uncontrollable. Oh, I eat a lot of eggs too. Um. Oh no 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 no. Man, you put those in so fast. You put that in so fast, man. Hold on. Anyways, um, so the thing is when your limbic system is suppressed like that, it makes you uh, way more logical than a normal person should be. You put the message in so many times and it was trying to read them all. Because I had the auto read turned on. Um, yeah. So I get into a lot of things where it's like, especially in politics, I look at what's going on and I'm like, you guys are crazy. Like, this does not logically follow from this. You think that X thing is going to happen. I give a good example. There was this story the other day these generals wrote that was like, if Donald Trump doesn't leave office when he loses the election, then he will have to be removed by force by this general guy. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, that's not going to happen, guys. It's ridiculous. He will contest if it's a close election. He will contest it. You know, very, very uh, he'll pursue any kind of legal means that he can. But the idea that will require a military coup to get him out of office is just patently ridiculous. And I think that people that think that's going to happen are not living in reality. You know what I mean? There's absolutely no evidence to support the idea that that would happen. But they think that it's going to happen. It's 100% based on emotions. And these are the things that me being on medication, I will see much more strongly than other people. So it actually kind of ends up being a really big advantage for trading, I think. Now, if I'm just sitting here looking for a technical signal and I don't want to miss it, then of course, yeah, you got to be there and you got to be ready for it. But you know what? I don't find that those work. If there was one that would work, why not set up a robot to look for it and have the robot do it? Hmm? Anyways, I'm going to bet you that after Donald Trump is out of office, that there will be this huge expose about how he was ADHD. And they just didn't want to say anything about it when he was in office. Okay, well, I then we got a little bit of a pullback. I didn't realize that they had made it back to the 71 area. I probably could have taken along there. The thing was, I was watching the Dom the whole time. I just didn't realize that the spot that I was looking for to go long again was so close. That said, they could continue up still. They're not to yesterday's levels, though, are they? Not quite. And what is the all-time high? We should probably know that, huh? Let me put a little drawing in here. Drawing tools, net mode, barn price. horizontal ray, I think it is. Yes. 33.9750. Oh, so we've still got a good 20 points to go before we're at that all-time high. The closing high is 81. So we're close. Yeah. For now, it's a really good one. I think at some point, like, here's the problem I have with Tesla. Everybody that's getting into it is into it based off of the proposition that more people are coming in later. And if they get added to the S&P 500, then for sure. But that's not for several months. And you know what? I'm not so sure that that's actually going to happen. How can you add that stock when it's basically like a freaking scam with the way that their accounting has been working and stuff? Like that they sold all of these regulatory credits and the market had no clue that that's what was happening is pretty sketch. You know? Yeah. Yeah. I think that at some point they're going to find that there's not a ton more people to buy it and that it's going to have to come back because the earnings certainly don't justify the price that it's trading at today. If it wasn't for those regulatory credits, they were losing, not just losing money, but losing a lot of money. Uh, no, that's cool. Mm-mm. the the people that were telling you that were probably talking about hydroxychloroquine. They're saying that works and that's enough to reduce the death rate in the countries where it's been used, and the scientific evidence of it is still very much arguable. Let's say stats are usually very arguable. You know why? Because a lot of the stats that we're looking at are really truly just noise and don't actually mean anything. Oh, great. So Biden just pronounced Kamala's name the same way Tucker Carlson did last night. This shall not stand, because they got so mad at Tucker Carlson for pronouncing the name wrong. How is it that it's supposed to be pronounced? I'm sure that people have said it that way her whole life and she doesn't care. Well, the argument that the proponents of it are making is really that it's an effective early treatment. That if you start taking it early, that it reduces the chances of you catching a severe case. Hmm. The 10-year has been pushing up, but somebody smacked it down there really hard. All of a sudden, there's like a ton more volume below us. I'm wondering if that's gonna pull out from underneath of them. I'm not quite sure I can really judge what the treasuries are going to do today. Mm. So Forex Live is tweeting that S&P index moves back towards the all-time high close level, but the all-time high is like in the 90s. Right? Oh man. There's this article on Medium where this guy, he had tracked literally every story, study, etc. about hydroxychloroquine, and it's insane. And you're absolutely right. Like it qualifies as a hysteria that the politics have absolutely ruined it, and that some of these studies were done with political motives. Apparently, it's not just Donald Trump, but the Bolsonaro, whatever his name is in Brazil, he was very much in favor of it as well. Yeah, the whole thing is messed up, regardless of whether it works or not. But then there's this whole other thing about, oh, the reason why they're pushing it down is because of remdesivir. And I'm hearing all these things about the possible um, bad things about remdesivir. The whole thing is I can't follow it. It's like beyond my, if my area of expertise was therapeutic treatments for uh, viruses, then it would be the most interesting thing in the world for me. But I just can't follow it. It's too confusing. Too big of a history and lots of stats and stuff that I just don't care to go into. But the proponents say that it's effective if you start treatment early. This is not a racing chair. So I would not recommend racing chairs like the gaming style chair. I think that it became popular because they look nice, but they're not really that comfortable in my opinion. You know what I want? Let me show you what I want. What is their name? The guys that were always the most popular chairs have a new one. I wish I could remember the name of him now. I'm gonna find it. Best office chair. Da, da, da. Herman Miller. That's right. Let me show you the newest in chair technology. Herman Miller. Hey Herman, I'm helping you out here. If you want to, send a little something, something this way. Huh? Having a chair for your trading, very important. Oh, they are making a gaming chair now. They're making it with yeah. They're making a new version of it with that's geared towards gaming. Yeah. You can find these online really cheap. The older one, um so the Aeon, this one right here, it's got the mesh so that it's cool. Oh man. So this chair right here brand new I think is $900. But what you really want is I think it's the Embody, right? Yeah. The Embody is the new one. There's also the Mirror. Mirror is kind of interesting, but the Embody is the one that you want. There we go. So when you look at it, the back of it, uh, isn't that interesting? So it's got this complicated back that makes it mold to your back. So you get much better back support from it. Because the issue with this one is that this fabric would stretch and then you wouldn't get good support. So they kind of fix that by just using a material that kind of brings cool air in instead. And it's just got this really flexible back. Now there's what is it? Ergo chair, I think it was. Yeah. So if you want a cheaper version of this, Autonomous have a chair as well. Office chairs, I'll show you. There we go. I think it's the Kin. Yeah. So it's kind of a similar-ish design, and this is still mesh, but it's like a rubber mesh. So that's your other choice. This one, this Embody. Oh man. Herman Miller Embody. On Amazon, I think is like over $1,000. Currently unavailable. $13.55. Renewed. Man, is not cheap. Yeah. I hate those, man. DX Racer. This bucket seat. The bucket seat design was designed to keep you in your chair when you're experiencing significant G forces. They don't make good chairs for sitting at a desk all day, in my opinion. So yeah. Well, do you think now that the counter trend time period is over, they could go and make another new high? I'm 300. So then you'd probably want to get like the autonomous ones, right? Nah, have a good chair, dude. So they have ones that are cheaper too, but autonomous.ai, they've got great chairs. They've got a lot of nice stuff. They have good standing. They're a really good place to get a standing desk if you want a standing desk. They also have like the accessories and stuff. Like they have a pretty good monitor arm. Hey, a single monitor arm is $60 from them now. That's not bad. They're pretty basic. I haven't looked for monitor arms in a long time. Let's go look at monitor arms. Dum-ba-da-dum. Well, that one isn't new. That is the one that I was looking at last time. Top rated from our brands. One, that's kind of like what I've got right now. But I have a triple, and I want to move them back to singles and attach them to a different spot. That one's interesting. Sure, as long as it has a good input response on it. So the thing that you used to get is that older televisions didn't have very fast response times because it wasn't required. Newer TVs are really good at that, and you can use with a computer and you'd be pretty happy with it. And you can get these TVs for not that much. I mean, like $4,000. I guess that's a lot, but you can get these $4,000 ones that are, high refresh rate and everything, OLED televisions and stuff. Oh man, some of the TVs out there are just crazy. Oh, look, this is a gaming monitor arm. That one looks cool. So yeah, I would like to see something with an arm that's like special. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can get nice TVs. You watch Linus Tech Tips has good information about that stuff. Linus Tech Tips is a YouTube channel, and he knows the TVs. OLED, yep. That's where like each pixel has a little light behind it. So you got really good contrasts. You can get some of these for dirt cheap now. There was not $30 ones last time that I was looking. Now this one is interesting. Oh, so it's on sale. That's why it is. So the question is, how long is the neck thing? Their measurements. So I want to know how far is from here to here. Dimensions. 17. See, this one's probably not long enough. Oh, this one actually is longer. It says it can go out 21 inches, which is about what I need. That one might be reasonable. This one looks like a better deal. This one was what? 32 versus like what, 50? This one has a cleaner look. This one is metal. This one is pretty. Oh yeah, you want to know what the big thing in monitors is right now? Yes, it's the G7 Odyssey. My goodness, these things are crazy. No, that's not it. G9, there it is. The G9 Odyssey, the ultimate in computer monitor technology. 240 hertz refresh rate with the wide full screen monitor sort of a thing. Yeah. You get one of these for trading, that would be all you'd need. That would be all you'd need. For sure. Uh they're crazy expensive though. For a monitor, it's 1700 bucks. 1700 bucks. Well, with 14, with a wide panel like that, the things like a 4K don't really match up. Right? Hey, Samsung, if you want to sponsor us, give me 3 of these things. I'll stick it up behind me. No. Excessive. Not necessary. These ones are nice looking, but they're more expensive. Ooh, and it comes in black. Oh, you know what I forgot about was that Nancy Pelosi was supposed to be speaking. Did that not happen? Larry Kudlow, is the Fed going to monetize the debt? That's the $1 trillion question. If they do, they destroy King Dollar. If they don't, they resurrect it. Well, that's funny. That is back when Larry Kudlow, before all of this. They're using an old quote against Larry. I need one for the piano for virtual sheet music. Why would you need one that big? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Well, I tell you what, the market is still kind of holding up here near the highs, and they're like right on like the stop out zone. So I don't doubt that they couldn't move further, but I don't think that I have enough edge to say that they actually will. This was why where again I was like was looking at a bunch of things that told me I'm gonna have to get out at 30 to have to get out here. Because there is like the 89 above us from a VIX perspective, but we've been underperforming that a lot lately. So that's not no guarantee as the volatility has decreased. Yeah, I want to get new monitor arms though because well, anytime that there's a bond auction, you got to be, you know, what is the word? On your toes. You notice there have been some big icebergs here, and a lot of contracts have traded at 06 in the 10-year. How you doing, Ace? Did you make money today? How did you do? I like this one. I think I want to get this one. I think I want this one. Look at how cool it is. It looks cool. Eh? It looks cool. Wait, why is the that different from that? Hmm. Oh wait, yeah, that was around where I went to. I got stopped out first, but then I still caught it. That might have been one that maybe I should have been more risk averse and just been like, yeah, whatever. It's so cool looking. I think I want this one. I would buy it, but I have other things I want to do with my money right now. But I'm just gonna put this in my list. Add to list. Now, what else do they have? These guys? Oh no no no! We're gonna put yeah. So the issue that I have right now is I've got a triple monitor stand, but I also have uh audio speakers, and the audio speakers are mounted on these stands from the floor behind the desk, and they eh, they're basically behind the monitors. So in order for me to really use the studio monitors to their full potential and everything, I have to move the monitors out. Well, what would be nice is if I could make it so that the speakers just sat in between each monitor, right? I think that would be the optimal situation. But the arms that I have don't go out far enough. So I think what I do is I replace it and get two single arms and mount those on the edges of the desk, and then those can swing, and that would be more, you know, flexible. It would be a more flexible setup in that respect. And I would be able to move them around more often and stuff. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know if I'm actually going to do it that way. My other option is build another PC and turn something into um like get rid of that thing in the back and turn it into a media computer. Yeah. It's saying what? Oh, hold on. Is it not reading it? There we go. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry I read it twice. The way she said that was great. There you go. Nah, I mean, I wanted it to be like I can move the monitor over and then the speakers will just come through. But it doesn't work that way. The speakers are too far back. They get blocked and it doesn't sound right. So, yeah, probably the real solution is that if I want to produce music, I need a separate machine for that. So then what I could do is I could get one that's like just a wider monitor or something. One monitor, put the speakers on the side of it, and I could just put it on the other end of the room. That's probably the ideal scenario. But I think to do that, that would be that's way further than we want to go right now. But I just like to keep an eye on monitor arms from time to time, see what they got out there. I don't know if I don't know if I really want to change my setup too much right now, where you can't see. Good idea. Well, it would be cool to have another computer in the background, wouldn't it? Kind of miss having the one my son's over here, but it's so much nicer now that he's not in here. He was so loud. I couldn't get any work done. He's so loud. You think that they're gonna break the high now? You gonna go for it? I don't know if they've got enough. Yeah. This thing is slow. What's the deal? Hmm. Okay, I think it's working fine. Um. Anyways, but I want to put more. Yeah, I have a bunch of things I want to do. The thing is that I think that for the most part, my setup is great. I don't think I need it. Well, no, I take that back. If I start spending a ton of money, it's going to be on a computer that's better for back testing. A little bit more RAM, really nice processor. You know what I mean? I should look at RAM. If I increase my RAM, that could make a difference. Mm-mm-mm. Um, but for now, I'm just saving it all up. We spent some money on news. So now that we've got that all worked out, yeah, I have 16 gigs. So if I increased it to 32, I really just don't think that NQ is tradable with the way that it is. Oh, I think that if I was to get a new computer, that I would need a. I think I would need a Threadripper. Want to look at those? Show you what I'm talking about. Let's look on Newegg. Yeah, if Jigsaw had a way to aggregate prices together so that it just showed me each handle instead of the quarter points, maybe it would be more manageable. Yeah, I've got a 1700. But I think I need more processing power to do some of the backtesting that I want to do. The Red Ripper. $1,800. just for the processor. And these 3990s are insane. Do you know that they're actually like the same processor? It's just better yields. That's always an interesting thing. So apparently, the amount that yield one that can be clocked up this high is very low, and that's why it's so expensive. 3990X 64 cores. Oh, it's also 64 cores. That's probably why too. It comes in this amazing box and stuff. I could get a second gen Threadripper. Nah, I think I want um, this or this, the 60 or the 70. So this has 32 cores in it. Yeah, cores. It always ends up being more than you think, huh? Oh, is it editing you sometimes still? I should look at RAM. 32. I'm going to close this down because it's being slow. Don't say things a bunch of times in a row, Celine. Oh, wow. 63. I don't remember what I got in here. I think it's higher than 32. I know what I can do. I can look it up. Order history. Here it is right here. Okay, so it is DDR4 3200. $60. I think that I spent less on that, but oh no, wait. That was my son's machine. Mine was older than that, actually, because mine has the lights on it. I wish it would just show you everything. I think it was 2017 that I did it. Yeah, here it is. Vengeance. I think that's correct. Yeah. Out of stock. But mine is DDR4 300. So I could probably just upgrade to a higher clock speed RAM. I bet you. Actually, go back. Go back. Oh, not right. Not here. Here. Yes. And then what do we got? We have like low profile. Oh, doesn't change that. Low profile RAM. Okay, now Pelosi is stocking. Oh, I'm hearing stuff about peace deal between Israel and the United Arab Emirates. I don't want to be in the market at the moment. Nancy's talking. Might say something mean. Let's try Michael's there. Because I have this freaking. I have a heat sink that's ginormous and blocks the RAM. 2x60. $60. Maybe worth it. I put that on my list. I wonder if I just search the internet here. Low profile RAM. The best low profile RAM for a gaming PC. Oh. Okay. Guess those are shorter than I thought. So you want LPX. This one right here. Save 28%. $70. I think that would work. Mike, hey, Seth, I found you on Twitter and followed a few of your lists. Thanks for that. Oh, yeah. It's super useful, right? Now, do you know about TweetDeck? So I'll show you how I do it. Here's TweetDeck. And I'll set up the list. So here I have the squawks, and then I have the list of traders. And the cool thing about TweetDeck is you just leave this open. I'm not scrolled up all the way. Okay, so you just leave this open, and it you'll see all of the tweets immediately as they come in. That's way better for trading. Check something here. Okay. It's still being slow for some reason. Like, I clicked the button there. Yeah. Get another monitor. Just search on your local Craigslist and find a cheapo monitor. Add it. It's the way to do it. Hmm. Oh, we got about 15 minutes. Man, it's coming back. Oh, look at that. 3380. I did not realize that it was there. Did we see Hmm. Somebody stuck 1,000 at 3380. This is weird. I've not seen this before. Okay, so they traded through it, a couple pulled, but it still ended up being 1,100 contracts. Yeah. I don't know if it makes much sense for me to try and take another trade, but surprised you took that one, Ace. Like, I'm thinking about it. I don't have any reason to believe that they're gonna push through or not. But there's a lot of interest here from other participants. I think that for me, that's a good reason to stay out because there's a lot of other people that might have an edge on me because I don't know, you know? Hmm. Stay humble. Yeah. I don't know. That was a pretty big offer they took there at 33.80 for them to be turning back down from it. You know what I mean? Which was a bad idea. I'm surprised you took that one. This is not your usual setup. Yeah, the big blue dot, because it was a thousand bought into that, right? They hit the offer 11.48. Did you see it trade? You can't see it anymore. Now, do I still see orders stacking? See some bids down in the 76 areas. Well, if you got your DOM up, when they stack 1,000 on the E-mini, I'm not saying it's going to stop it from going up or that it's going to make it more likely to go up. I'm just saying it's something to pay attention to. It means something's going on. Was it absorbed? Yeah. They had an 1100 orders sitting there, and they market orders went into it and hit it. Let's come and look at our footprint really quick. There was a pretty decent amount of profit taking at 76, and now we're getting a pretty decent amount of profit taking at 79. Blat. I wonder if Google is giving me issues with the text to speak because it's not reading them. I click the read button, it's not doing it. I run out of requests over there. Well, we'll just close that. Nancy's still talking. And they got Kudlow on television trying to counter her. Dan, do the bubbles on the jigsaw chart help any? I think so. You'll find that probably about 60% of the time that they trade into one of those, there's at least a little bit of a pullback. I wouldn't trade off of that, but that's some significant profit taking there, right? I'm not really a fan of basing your trades off of a technical signal, but if you wanted to read that as a technical signal, generally speaking, in a range bound market, it's going to cause the market to flip. Yeah. Well, it's nice to be able to see when it got put on and everything. Wasn't always there. Can you see also that when they first put it on, that the market backed off of it? They were heading up there, and then they stuck that big order on. The market pulled back, and then we came up, and they have failed it twice before somebody finally traded into it. Anyone brave can come in with a 1 million order SPY and just break resistance if they want. Yeah, sure. No, you're totally right. Um, Going back to like my tracking of positions, um, there's not a lot of um, how do I say uh, for the whole day. It looks to me like most of the shorts are stopped out. This market looks very much long. Maybe after the London close, we might see something. If Nancy Pelosi were to say something negative enough that the market reacted to it, I think that it would cause a lot of havoc. In fact, we should come in here and just put like one down, like way down here. Yeah, we'll cancel it if they just kind of drift down there. But if there's like a fast move, I want to take that. Hmm. Pelosi says GOP proposal does not meet the need of the American people, and Zero Hedge says the American people do not need extended benefits. What? Hmm. McConnell dismisses Pelosi offer to calm down 1 trillion in negotiations as throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. They just moved the expiration date on some crazy wish list so the price tag comes down without moving an inch, she says. Well, that might do it, man. So those London close. Hmm. Hmm. Well, I think I should just go. It seems like that this could fall, but I don't know if it's ever going to do it. If the spread is sharp, does that mean that the market is liquid? How can ES got bigger spread than NQ and still gets called more liquid? Wow, that the amount of the liquidity just means how many orders are at each price, right? ES has 150 at each price, and NQ has like 6. That's the difference. Anyways, what should we name today's video, eh? Hmm. I think that shortcut could have worked. And I just don't have time to sit around and watch it. Nancy growing market moment. Yeah, it's just like, do you really want to be buying long into resistance when Nancy Pelosi is speaking? 10-year Treasury just took a significant uptick. Well, we'll see where it goes. I think that if it drops, that we could get back to yesterday's close at 33.70. So I will leave you guys with that. We had a good, okay day today. Fun times. So I will, and we did good. That I am always don't feel good when it's like I took a double, but it's okay, I think. So I will see you guys tomorrow, Friday, and the week's almost over. Hey, thanks for stopping in, Ace. So I'll see you guys again, and in the meantime, stay profitable, friends.